Hello students, welcome to Social Groups. Now we will study about the introduction of social groups. Man lives in groups, which is universal aspect of human life. The survival of human beings is almost impossible without group life over a period of time. Hence, group life has become inevitable for the human beings. Human beings, by living in groups, develop or acquire the qualities of human beings. With the absence of group life, man fails to develop human qualities. It is important for us to know why and how people form groups and how groups are helpful for the human beings. The main purpose of this lesson is to make you familiar on groups, its types, and the factors which favor group life. Now let us discuss the objectives. After the completion of this lesson, you will be able to define social groups, explain different types of social groups, explain the factors of group life. A group consists of two or more people and has direct or indirect contact and communication among the members. The members of the group interact regularly with each other on the daily basis, stimulate each other and respond to each other in a meaningful way. The members of the group have mutual expectations with each other and also share a common identity. Man, by living in social groups, becomes a social being. That means he or she will learn to abide to the rules and regulations of that specific group. So, society consists of social groups. Without groups, individuals cannot survive, and without individuals, society cannot exist. Individuals try to stay in contact with one another in order to satisfy their physical, psychological, and other needs. Sociologists are not merely concerned about any group of human beings, but with social groups. A social group is a collection of interrelated individuals where reciprocal relationships exist among them. The individuals have a definite status and role relationships with one another, and the individual behavior is regulated by a set of norms and values. It is important to distinguish social groups from two related concepts: social categories and social aggregates. A social category is a collection of individuals who have at least one attribute in common, but otherwise do not necessarily interact with each other. Men and women are an example of social category. Anglo-Indians is another example of social category. As all Anglo-Indians have two things in common: their ethnic background and their residence in India, even if they do not interact or share any other similarities. Social categories are based on gender, race, caste, ethnicity, religious preference, geographical residence, and social classes, etc. Social aggregate falls between social category and social groups. Social aggregate is a collection of people who assemble at a place at a particular time, but necessarily do not interact or except in some superficial ways or have anything else in common. For example, the crowd or audience at the sports event, movies, etc. These collections of people are not a social category, as the people are together, and not a group, as they do not have a common identity and no interaction among the members, and they do not share a common identity. Now let us discuss the definitions of social groups. According to 𝗵𝗺𝗺, a number of persons, two or more, who have common objects of attention, who stimulate each other, who have common loyalty and participate in related activities are called as a group. According to Arnold W. Green, an aggregate of individuals who persist in time, which has one or more interests or activities in common and which is organized, is called as a group. According to McIver and Page, social group is any collection of human beings who are brought into human relationships with one another. Muzaffar Sharif, a social psychologist, has formulated a technical definition of social group. It is a social unit consisting of a number of individuals interacting with each other with respect to common motives and goals, an accepted division of labor, established status relationships, accepted norms and values with reference to matters relevant to the groups, and the development of accepted sanctions such as raise and punishment when norms were respected or violated. Now let us discuss the characteristics of social groups. Social group is a collection of individuals. A group consists of two or more individuals. No single person can constitute a group. As well, mere collection of individuals without contact and communication between them cannot be treated as a group. The second one is reciprocal relationship. The members of the group are interrelated with each other. A group can sustain when the members of the group develop reciprocal communication. All the social groups have common goals and interests. A group includes individuals who tend to have a common goal and interest. Groups are mostly formed for the fulfillment of a common goal or common interest. Even men join or form groups for the realization of their interests. Based on the interest of the groups, groups may vary. For example, political groups, religious groups, student groups, racial groups, and so on. In all the social groups, we have a sense of unity and solidarity. The members of the group are tied by a sense of unity. Solidarity of the group mostly depends on interaction among the members, which is mostly guided by emotional attachment. Frequency of interaction among its members, sense of unity and solidarity results in loyalty and sympathy towards each and other members. Each and every group has a sense of we feeling among its members. Each and every member of the group helps to identify themselves with the rest of the members of the group. It helps in fostering cooperation among the members and also in performing their duties. This we feeling also allows in defending collective interests and goals. At the same time, each and every social group has similar behavior among the members. The members of the group may or may not be from the similar socio-economical background, and some of the groups are naturally formed and some are deliberately formed. The members behave in more or less similar way for the pursuit of the common goals and interests. Each and every social group has some norms and regulation. The members of the group behave or act in a similar way, and their behavior is regulated by the group norms and regulation. Each and every group has their own set of group norms and regulations. Even the groups have its own ways and means of punishment and correcting its members who go against the group norms and rules. The group norms and regulations can be either written or unwritten. All the members of the social group awareness about its members. The members of the group must be aware with each other as their behavior is determined by mutual awareness and recognition. It also helps to differentiate themselves with other groups. Groups are dynamic in nature and not static. They are bound to change due to internal or external forces or pressures. The pace of change depends upon the pressure built upon by the group members or external pressures. Stability. Groups can either be stable or unstable, or temporary or permanent in nature. Many groups are relatively permanent in nature. Some groups like crowd, mob may be temporary in nature, and this group has an influence on the personality of the individuals. Groups directly or indirectly influence the personality of the members. For example, the members who join military force are trained to be punctual, follow the command of the superiors, and lay the life for the welfare of the nation. Now let us discuss the factors which favor group life. There are various factors which force the individuals to stay in groups. Psychological factor, biological factors, physical factors. Now let us discuss these three factors in detail. The first one is psychological factor. Aristotle, a Greek philosopher, has stated that man is a social animal. A solitary life is unbearable for him. As well, solitary life leads to boredom and also to fear. Hence, individuals try to identify or recognize the similarities with one another and come together and live in groups. Group life provides an opportunity for the individuals to develop their personality to the fullest. It also provides an opportunity to express their feelings to others in the group. In the group environment, man discovers his capacities, learn new ideas, habits and attitudes. The psychological bond promotes group life. The second factor is biological factors. In all the societies, human beings are vulnerable to sexual pressure throughout their life. The desire to satisfy the biological needs and also the desire to have offsprings have brought men and women together and is the cause for the establishment of a group called family. The next one is kinship bond. Kinsmen are related to each other through blood. They are treated as blood relatives. In the primitive societies, kinship is more effective in bringing the individuals together. However, the modern societies, due to industrialization and modernization, the kinship system is becoming weaker. The next factor is geographical factor. The geographical factors such as climatic conditions, soil, natural resources, rivers, mountains are playing a vital role in the development of the social relations with one another. As the individuals are living in a particular geographical area, have paved the path for regular contact and interaction, which are the basic requirements of social group. The next factor is cultural factor. The common culture and common interest of the individuals have been a significant element in promoting group life. Common language, faith, beliefs, values, attitudes, customs, traditions have played a vital role in bringing the people together. The next one is economical factor. In the process of human development, people have experienced that the basic economic needs like food, clothing and shelter can be effectively satisfied by staying in the group rather than being alone. In the primitive societies, the family itself used to be a production and consumption unit. But in the modernized societies, families have shifted from production units to consumption units. The major economical process of production, distribution and exchange take place in groups. The next one is the religious factor. Man is a religious or spiritual being. They crave to know what is the purpose of life, why they are born, and after death where do they go. And in order to find the answers for these questions, they worship God, do meditation, offer prayers to God and sing songs in praise of God, etc. These activities will provide the individuals with religious experience. In the name of God and supernatural power, it binds the people together into groups. The next one is political factor. Individuals, in order to lead a peaceful, safe and secure life, have come together to form the political groups. In modern societies, democratic setup is providing an opportunity for all the individuals to take part in politics. It allows the individuals to have their own political party, contest in elections and through majority can form the government and rule the state or the country. Today, the state has become the most powerful of all the groups and other factors. And beside all these factors, we also have certain factors such as common occupation or professions, common language, common historic traditions, common educational heritage, common faith, beliefs, values, attitudes and outlook have also gave scope for the formation of the groups and also the freedom for the individuals to join the groups. Now let us discuss the types of groups in detail. Different sociologists have classified the groups on the basis of various criteria or factors such as racial features, religious beliefs, geographical areas, based on sex, age, class, relationship, etc. Now we will discuss on primary and secondary groups. 𝗧𝗦𝗔𝗧 𝗚𝗃 in his book Social Organization, a study of the larger minds, has classified groups into primary and secondary groups. In primary groups, we find the dominance of primary relations among its members. These groups usually consist of fewer members of people who come in direct contact with one another. The members have sympathetic contact towards each other. The family is the example of primary groups. They are typically a small group where members share close, personal, enduring relationships. These groups are marked by concern for one another, shared activities and culture, and usually spend a lot of time together. According to 𝗂𝗽, primary groups are those which are characterized by intimate, face-to-face association and cooperation. They are primary in several senses, but chiefly in that they are fundamental in forming the social nature and ideals of the individuals. Now let us discuss the characteristics of primary group. In the primary groups, the members have face-to-face interaction. The primary groups are characterized by close, intimate and face-to-face interaction. There exists a face-to-face interaction among the members, and everyone knows all its members by their name, occupation, education, social status, and economical status. We also find intimacy among the members, as every member knows each and everyone by their social and economical conditions. It develops a strong intimacy among its members. We also find direct cooperation among the members. Members, in order to achieve their common goals or interests, cooperate with each other directly. All the members participate collectively and work in essentially a mode of sharing a common experiences. In the primary groups, we also find we feeling among the members. We feeling is found among the members of the group, which is a commonality, and primary groups are always smaller in size. The larger the size of the group, the lesser intimacy among its members, and it loses the bond of the group. We also find physical proximity or nearness among the individuals. Face-to-face relation exists among the members when they live in a particular area on more or less permanent basis. As the members stay together for a longer period, share same feelings towards each other, which brings them together. It provides an opportunity for the development of the primary group. Communication. In the primary groups, we have direct face-to-face interaction among the members, which helps in easy and fast communication among its members. The communication is quick and effective. The next characteristic is personal relation. In the primary groups, interest of each is centered in others as persons. They interact with each other on the basis of personal relation. This relation exists because of the person, and the relationship is non-transferable and irreplaceable. Now, similarity of background of members. Members of the group have more or less similar background. Each and every member should have something to contribute and as well something to take. The next one is stability of the group. Primary groups are relatively permanent in nature. As the group remains together for longer period, the relation between the members becomes deeper and stronger. Now we will discuss about secondary groups. Secondary groups are those social groups which are opposite to primary groups. In the modern industrial societies, large associations and groups have become inevitable due to the growing culture complexity. With the expansion of population and vanishing boundaries or expanding territories of a society and the interests of the individuals, relationships have become secondary or impersonal. Frank Watson says that secondary groups are larger and more formal, specialized and direct in its contacts, and relies more for unity, continuance and stability of its social organization that does the primary group. Now let us discuss the characteristics of secondary group. Large in size. The size of the secondary group is relatively larger than the primary group. It may consist of hundreds and thousands of members. Second characteristic is secondary relations. As the size of the group is larger, it is impossible for all the members to stay together. Hence, there exists an indirect, impersonal, contractual and non-inclusive relation among the members. The members of the group are bound towards each other by mutual rights, duties and obligations. Usually they come close to each other for achieving common interest. The next one is less physical proximity. The physical proximity is rarely found as the members may not reside at one place. The next characteristic is membership. Members in the secondary groups is purely voluntary. Individuals are free to take or withdraw their membership from a group. However, there are some secondary groups where the membership is involuntary. For example, the state. The next one is specific ends or interest. Members of the secondary groups come together merely for the realization of some specific goals or ends. That is why these are also known as special interest groups. Next one is indirect communication. Contact and communication among the members in the secondary group is mostly indirect. Telephone, radio, internet, movies, magazines, post, telegraph and circulars are the main source for communication in these groups. The next characteristic is social control. Secondary groups consist of large number of individuals who come together in order to achieve a common goal. So, in order to regulate the behavior of the individuals, formal means of social control is enforced. Laws and other regulations are enforced on the members by the authorities. The degree of relationship among members is not very strong here. This group is secondary in importance. Now we will discuss group structure. These groups have a formal structure with formal authority, with clear-cut division of labor, with designated power and status. The functions of each and every individual are specified in the group. Now we will discuss in-group and out-group. 𝗧𝗦𝗔𝗧 in his book Folkways has classified groups into two types, in-group and out-group. In-group is like primary group, a we group, and out-group is like secondary group, they group. Family, peer groups, college, etc. are the examples of in-group, which consists a feeling of togetherness among its members. The members of in-group look after the welfare of its members, sympathetic towards each other, and show readiness to sacrifice anything for the welfare of its members. In contrast, the members of out-group do not feel a sense of belongingness towards other members of the group. It is an association of individuals with whom they have a feeling of indifference, avoidance, competition, or conflict. Now we will discuss involuntary and voluntary organizations, institutional and non-institutional groups, and temporary and permanent groups. Charles A. Elwood has mentioned these three types of groups. Involuntary groups are those where the individual gets membership by birth and not by choice. Family, city, caste, religion, region, race, etc. are the examples of involuntary organizations. Individuals, if they join any group based on their choice or interest, then it is known as voluntary group. Trade unions, political parties, religious associations are the examples of this group. The groups which are based on legitimate set of rules and regulations with specific structure, division of labor, etc. are known as institutional groups. These are mostly permanent in nature. State, church, caste, etc. are the examples of non-institutional groups are temporary in nature, which includes mob, crowd, etc. Now we will discuss the classification of communities, nothing but groups. Ferdinand Tönnies has classified communities into Gemeinschaft and Gesellschaft. In Gemeinschaft, it is nothing but community. The relations are defined and regulated on the basis of traditional social rules. They are simple, has face-to-face interaction, and the relations are natural and spontaneous. Gesellschaft, in contrast, is defined by rationality, nothing but will. In this, the human relations are impersonal and indirect and are rationally constructed in order to reach a specified goal or interest. Now we will discuss horizontal group and vertical group. The concept of horizontal and vertical groups was introduced by P.A. Sorokin. Vertical groups are usually large and inclusive groups. These groups include individuals with different strata and statuses. Nation, religious groups, political groups are the examples of vertical groups. Horizontal groups are smaller divisions in the larger groups. These groups include individuals of same strata and statuses. Economic class is an example of horizontal group. Now let us discuss about reference group. The concept of reference group was introduced by Muzaffar Sharif in his book An Outline of Social Psychology. According to Hurton and Hunt, a reference group is any group which an individual refers while making judgments. These reference groups act as the model for one's ideas and norms. In other words, an individual or a group may compare themselves with other groups for evaluating themselves and their own behavior. The group with which they have referred themselves is known as reference group. Reference groups are helpful to evaluate and determine the individual's or group's characteristics. It is the group with whom the individuals or groups compare and relate themselves psychologically. Thus, reference groups become the individual's frame of reference and source for shaping their perceptions, cognition, ideas, and experiences. Now, let us sum up the lesson. The study of human society is nothing but the study of human groups, which have become a part and parcel of our lives. People, willingly or unwillingly, have become the members of the groups for the satisfaction of their needs or ends. It can be said that the individual's life is mostly controlled by the groups. Man is a social animal and cannot lead the life all alone. For the survival, people needs the support of others. Group life makes the people's survival possible. At the same time, individuals staying in the group will learn the norms, values, culture of the particular group. Groups also help in development of individuals' personality.